morning everyone, and welcome back to my channel on this beautiful February the 8th 2025. It is 9:37 a.m. I hope that everybody is doing great. Welcome back. In today's video I want to usher a die-hard warning, and I'm only going to use a single video, and I'm going to state the obvious. If you do not understand that everything is being foreshadowed, if you do not understand that you are being psychologically effed with, then I don't know what to tell you. Happy Sabbath day to everyone. With this, I will usher a disclosure. I am not here to offend absolutely anyone. I am not here to point fingers. I care very little about your feelings, because your feelings have absolutely nothing to do with salvation and the truth. And I am tired of looking at people act on their emotional impulses and disregard the evidence that is pointing to the perpetrator. I am tired of the crocodile tears of those that continue to want to defend the criminals that are in our midst. But we want to point fingers to those that haven't even touched us. Welcome back, everyone. With this being said, I do not preach religion. I'm exposing it. So, if you still on the boat, then you're about to drown, and your salvation is not worth these people. This is about you. This is not about them. This is not about the government. This is not about religion. This is about you. You are the temple of the Most High. Whose temple are you walking to? Who are you entertaining? What spirit are you under? Are you under the court of men? Or are you under the court of the Most High, Yahuwah, and His Son, Yahushua, who is our lawyer and our intermediary? Are you being led blindly? Or are you into the truth? Because if you're into the truth, you're going through it. And there's a lot of things happening that you can no longer deny, that is foreshadowing everything. And you're looking to the past to see the same calling cards, and they're there. Did you know what they were? No. The majority of us don't, because we lack experience. My people perish for lack of knowledge. Yet, this Gnosticism wants to acquire salvation through their knowledge. But Yahushua says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. So, what kind of knowledge are they bringing forth? What kind of knowledge are religion bringing forth? Religion is preparing for something. While the world is under falling airplanes and fires and little green men and triangles in the sky and everything else in between you can think of, earthquakes and the natural phenomenons that are happening, they are preparing for revival. Not only that, but they are preparing their temples to receive people, because they are acquiring things that are not necessary for a place of quote-unquote worship that only gathers 2 to 3, maybe 4 times a week. Put that into question. So, they're preparing with generators, they're preparing with, central AC. So we need to understand what's going on here. They're multiplying. Oh yeah, the Pentecostal church here on the island is multiplying. And it's not good. And they're preparing for something. All of them are preparing for something. All of them got generators. And you need to ask yourself, why does a church need a generator? Generators are normally for no houses. They're getting their temples all nicely painted. I mean, they look like houses. They do not look like places of worship. They look like houses, like, you know, a place where you're going to gather people. Have you noticed? Because I'm pointing Christianity out. Christianity is an extension of the Roman Catholic Church. Yeah, they don't worship idols. And they do not align with the teachings of their mother. They're the rebellion aspect of her. Yet, they're tax exempt, but they need your money. But they're tax exempt, but they still need your money. The pastors, the bishops, and the leaders live better than you. And some of them work, but they need your money. But they're tax exempt. Who owns the land? Who's paying those utilities? Because they got to bow down to the Pope. All religion has to bow down to the Pope. All religion has to meet with the Pope. Because all of them have a leader. So you need to ask yourself, what kind of hypocrisy is this? But none of them keep the Sabbath. And we're not talking about cults and sects. We're talking about religion. A cult and a sect is not a religion. Because not everybody's going to join a cult and a sect. But the majority of the world is under religion. And religion is the prison. Along with the pharmakia, along with the monopoly money, along with the governmental diabolical system, all these are in connection. They are the prison for the soul of men. They have you in captivity. You can believe whatever you want to believe. I'm 51 years old, and there's nothing that I have not sought out within the last 9 years that hasn't been confirmed. So you can believe whatever you want to believe. I live in separation mode. I have no need to sit here and do none of this. I can just sit here and keep my notes because they're going to become relevant. Because I know that I'm not obsolete. I know that I'm being prepared for something. Because the things that are happening in my life just don't add up to anything other than that. The preparedness for the great spiritual war that is coming. You're dealing with demons, but you don't believe. So then how can I show you when the actions are there for you to see, but you want to act on emotions? You need to put your emotions to the side. Your emotions have absolutely no place in a courtroom. Your emotions have absolutely no place when we are dealing with the evidence that is going to point you to the perpetrator. But then when we get the evidence that points you to the perpetrator, you want to make excuses for it and you want to defend the undefendable. Then what can I say? What can I say? Money talks. Money talks. Money is the root of all evil. Let me tell you two things that have been revealed to me. Number one is, if you have a dog in your house, you cannot act like you don't have a dog. Because it doesn't matter how clean your house is, how spick and span your house is, the presence of that animal is noticeable. Whether it's a bowl, a toy, a pillow, or the animal itself sleeping on a corner, you're going to see evidence of an animal. You're going to see that an animal resides in this house. You can't take away the smell either. This is why pets are adaptable with the owner's personality. When you're not into a dog, that dog is going to stink to you. You're not going to want it. It's going to be a burden. You're going to feel like, I don't want this dog. This, it was cute when I got it. That's it. But you're not willing to adapt the dog to you. You're not willing to be a master. Let's put it that way. So you're rejecting the dog because the dog is no longer cute to you, because the dog is doing things that don't align with what you expect. But you're not willing to be a master because you're not willing to take the time to teach. I am speaking from experience. What does our pet teach us? What do we gain when we have a pet? Besides the emotional benefits and all that, I'm talking about physical and spiritual. What does our pets do for us? What do they teach us? When we care for a pet, it's like we're caring for another person. We understand that pet's needs. We know when they're thirsty. We know when they're hot. We know when they're hungry. We know when they are concerned about us. Excuse me. We learn to read them. We learn to understand their needs. This is a great tool because often we don't necessarily understand others' needs. This is all preparation for what is coming. Right now, you need to understand that you're being psychologically F with on a mental level that it's incomprehensible to the average person, because even though I'm looking at it, even though I can identify it, and even though I'm looking at the corporates, it's hard for me to even stomach it, because it's hard for me to understand that these particular people have been groomed and used, and their payment, it's already been put forth. There's nothing we can do for these people. The wages of sin is death. That means that you've already been paid for your labor. There's nothing else that you need. There's nothing else that you want. And there's no spirituality in that individual. Therefore, the people that we're dealing with are soulless. And they are empowered by demons. And their wages, they work for money. They work for notoriety. They work for positions. They work for favors. These are the people that we're dealing with. You see, the opposite of what we think. We think that Fausti and Gates, although these are two very wicked men, we tend to think that they are the corporates of all the death around us. No, they're not. And I'm going to tell you why. Excuse me. So you need to understand that the people that we are dealing with are the ones responsible, not them. You see, Fausti didn't put a needle on no one. Neither the Gates. Your local pharmacists, your local doctors, and all those within the pharmacia health industry, they were the ones pushing it. These are normal working class people. So before you go pointing the fingers at those that you can't touch, you need to understand what these people have done. These people, their time is a matter of time. Their clock is already ticking. It's been ticking. There's nothing that we can do. Shedding their blood, getting vengeance, that's not going to work. Because the scriptures is telling us that thou shalt not kill. And we wrestle not against flesh and blood. murdering these people, killing these people, going against them, seeking vengeance is not going to work. This is why there's no profit in war. War is a curse. Shedding blood brings forth a curse. So that means you're already under a curse, but you're about to curse yourself twice. Not profitable. I caution anyone against lifting their hands against anyone. Take a look at them. Their actions condemn them. Bottom line, you don't need to lift a finger. You don't need to do nothing. You're not in control. You're not in control. Sorry. You need to stomach that. Excuse me. When you understand that you're not the one in control, when you understand that you have a choice to make, once you make that choice, once you start the walk, and once you start seeking the truth, you yourself, you are under the protection of the Most High, because we wrestle not against flesh and blood. It's darkness. And unless you step away from the path, everything that is happening to you is in preparation for the great test that is coming. Mankind is tested and is going to be tested and has been tested in the past. Nonetheless, we can definitely confirm that with the first chapter of the book of Enoch, where Enoch himself is blessing the last generation that will be living throughout the tribulation, where the ungodly are to be removed. So think about that for 1 minute. Because we got the masterminds. But there's no mastermind without the military complex. None of this would have been possible without the military complex. When it comes to the so-called quote-unquote patriots, regardless of what you think, patriots are not normal people. They're the hidden shadow government that pays for things behind the shadows. So you need to understand that everything that is being brought forth requires your participation or your ignorance. So you either going to participate and be involved, or you're going to be like me, not give an F and walk away and not care, because they don't play a key role in your life. On a serious note, me personally, throughout my whole entire life, I never entertained politics, because my father told me from a very young age that politics is no different than the mafia. That's it. I don't need to know anything more. I just didn't entertain it. I found it boring. By the time that I got back in 1991, where I got stuck watching the Oliver North, case on national television. I mean, there wasn't a station that you could turn that wasn't there, and I got stuck watching this, and I kept looking at this man, and I'm like, yo, this is so boring. Like, why do I care? I wasn't there. I don't know anything about this man. What did he do? It turned out that it was just a psyop. It was just a show, because what was behind it? Arms trade deals, drug deals, and everything else in between. So that means that they fund wars, they get us hooked on the material, and then we become their customers. No different than what's happening to pharmacia. We go into it, they make us sick, and then we become customers. Now you need to pay. Now you need a health plan. But the majority of us don't use it until we're sick. But yet we lose all that money yearly. Yeah, because when I was a kid, you only went to the doctor when you were sick. This health wellness didn't exist. And back then, people worked and they had a private health insurance, such as my stepmom used to work, and she had me on her insurance. She had triple S insurance. It was private. So when I got sick, she would take me to the clinic. So people used to work and pay insurance. Now, there was no governmental insurance. So I don't understand. I'm not a rich person. I didn't grow up rich. I grew up in a shanty town, not far away from here. Yeah, I'm a barrio girl, like on a serious note. So the majority of people didn't have bathrooms. They had to go outside. Plumbing was basically in its infancy. We didn't have this elaborate stuff that we got now. A sink? Barely nobody had a sink. You had a sink. Yeah, you had a sink made out of cement and block, with a faucet just coming out of the wall, with something that you turn. There's nothing fancy. The first water heaters were plugged in. You plugged them in, and they were confined to the hose in the bathroom. So you need to understand that you know, people used to live how they were capable of living, but nobody was going to people and telling them, oh, you can live just like me or better than me. What you had was a product of your hard work and where you invested. If you worked and you invested in your house and you made house improvements and stuff like that, then you had a beautiful house at the end of the road. This is why we have these mansions. These mansions weren't built overnight. Sorry. These mansions have been here longer than I've been here, because I remember my father driving me at 4 or 5 years old to school, and these mansions were there already. This is the product of work, hard work. That's what you did with your money. Nobody was competing with no one. Some people worked, some people didn't work, and they had to live out of what they had in their land. Everybody had a piece of land. Nonetheless, the next thing that I have noticed is the foundation. The government does a great thing at providing people with money, but they will never provide you with a solid foundation where you can grow and you can build, and that money that they give you will be more profitable. The average individual is stuck paying rent and utilities, which, if you really think about it, is a double rent. Not to mention those that need to pay to, you know, safeguard their car, not to mention the insurance, not to mention your health insurance. It just seems that we work, but we don't work for ourselves. We work to maintain someone else and to provide for someone else and to fund someone else, and then they sell it to us as, you know what, you might need this insurance, or you might need this death insurance. If you're anticipating death, then you are dead yourself. Like, on a serious note, because who is anticipating that on the long run I'm going to get sick? Where's my faith? Who do I believe? Who do I serve? Hands up. I'm not the enemy of absolutely anyone, but I'm recognizing these things. The next thing is the hatred that you're going to feel towards this world. Oh yeah. If you're not already there, it's going to be there. I just hope that when it comes, you understand your feelings, because you're going to see what they stand for. You're going to see who the murderers are. You're gonna see who the rapists are. You're gonna see the real gang members. You're gonna see the real drug dealers. They're not who we think we are. Just like we think the ADA is in control. Sorry, I just told you who's in control. The Black Pope. And ADA is following his agenda. And he's there to cause confusion. And he's there to destabilize. And he is there to cause as much chaos as possible. But why are we going through all this? Why? What's the outcome? Well, the book of Enoch gives us a clue. They are called the ungodly. And the ungodly work for money. And they get paid. They do not do nothing unless they get paid. And they overshadow the real people because they fake. These people need to be taken out. These people need to be removed because this is the garbage of the world. If the shoe fits, then put it on. I can't speak what I cannot come to terms with. And I'm sorry to tell you, but if you believe in these people, your time's short and you're just a number. Artificial intelligence is being used, and artificial intelligence is imprinting a mark. Not too long ago, I was shocked by a video that I saw where it was a hurricane simulation. I am no strangers to hurricane simulations because that's how I get a lot of more or less what I'm going to be looking at. And often I really enjoy, watching them, watching how, the predictive programming, works. But nonetheless, yeah, because that's what it is, it's predictive programming. But the really creepy aspect of it, or of all this, is that they are manipulating, controlling, and orchestrating. The evidence is there, but people refuse to look at the evidence. There's a mastermind. The mastermind is not the murderers. We have a perfect example with Charles Manson. Charles Manson was a mastermind. He couldn't be let out of prison. There's just no way. Man knew too much. And they couldn't kill him because then it would be so obvious. So they went after those that he manipulated into going and doing his bidding. But he didn't get his hands bloody. He's no different than Fausti and Gates. He's on the same exact category. The only difference is that Fausti and Gates are billionaires that have enriched themselves through the death of other people. And they are often bringing forth depravity and rebellion and going against goodness and the natural order of things. Because their intentions is not to make you well and prolong your life. Their intentions is to target you and to discover how to dismantle you, because they want to control every human being in the world. But this is bound to fail. So that means that artificial intelligence is demons. It's the iron mixed with clay. We are the last kingdom. And the things that are happening can be compared to Sodom and Gomorrah, Egypt and Rome. So we know that we are in the last days. No if or buts about it. In 1981, there was a movie called Early Warning. In that movie, we see the mastermind. The mastermind, quote unquote, at this point is a leader of some kind, but not known yet. This scene is futuristic. because these 10 people, and there's a woman, these 10 people are not in power. They're the shadow government. This is his shadow government. They're there. The Pope is a depiction of this man. Nonetheless, this is 10 leaders. These 10 world leaders are not in your sight. But these 10 world leaders are going to receive their power for 1 hour with him, because they already on his team. So these 10 world leaders are going to go against everybody else that comes against this man. This is military. This is war. But what does the scripture tell us when it reveals the 4 horsemen, with the first horse coming forth? He's coming forth to conquer. And he is going to do it through war. And he's going to seem invincible. And many will give him their power, because he will be like invincible. This man is going to be like, nobody's going to be able to defeat him when he rises. He's going to conquer everything that he sets his heart to conquer, because his power doesn't come from him. It comes from the devil himself. We're dealing with legions here, not just singular. Nonetheless, he's a depiction of that. And what are they talking about? They're talking about the simple fact that they want to imprint a mark on people so that they can control the population. And he tells them that he is talking about the energy crisis that has been very successful. In 1981, energy crisis, who would have relayed? There was no such thing going on in 1981. I mean, we didn't have technology like that, never mind electricity like that. Nonetheless, and then he goes on to mention the food shortage that they are going to create next. So they are in the stages of the energy crisis. Well, no coincidence that this movie depicts airplanes falling. It depicts articles of 10-year-olds, carrying weapons to school grounds. Like, it depicts things that later on it's foreshadowing. But then again, this is the best predicted programming next to the movie A Thunder in the Distance and A Thief in the Night. Because the modern day movies, they are just alienated. And they want you to think that these are aliens. And they have an agenda up there. But they're not going to tell you that the earth is stationary. We're the center. Therefore, there's nothing up there. They can't go nowhere. They are so hypocrites that in one hand they tell you that we can't go nowhere, and then in the other hand they want to send rockets and they want to colonize Mars and Venus and, Utopia and whatever. But in reality, you need to ask yourself, what is this? Are we dealing with planets? Because it doesn't make any sense, a planet inside of a planet. It's like a ball inside another ball. Like, that don't make no sense. So we gotta ask ourselves, are they talking about real planets or are they talking about stars? Nonetheless, what's up there? The stars, the sun, the moon, and the firmament. Past the firmament, water, the deepest, deep waters. That's it. They can't go nowhere. So, Hades, underground. Revelation 13, the beast of the earth. Where is he coming? He's not coming from the deep waters. He's coming from the sea. Like, can it be any more obvious that somebody's lying here? There's a contradiction here. Most definitely. So we need to understand what's going on. What this psychological war is all about. And why are you scripting a psychological war? Why are you psychologically effing laughing with people. Well, this is going to lead to rebellion. This is going to lead to a great fall away. And this is going to lead to an extreme destabilization where everyone is going to go crazy. Because they are already in the stages and have been for the past 3 years of doing away with our food supply and contaminating it, by which they will literally contaminate us. Not only that, in the simulation, what really spooked me was the simple fact that I have never seen a simulation that can tell you how many people are going to die in that simulation. And that hurricane season 2025 simulation, it had not only the impacts and the damage, but it also had the amount of people that were going to die. And the numbers were so irradical that I said to myself, has to be predictive programming, foreshadowing the people that they are about to kill. Because this is artificial intelligence that we're dealing with. Artificial intelligence has taken over. Artificial intelligence have been on the scene for the past 2 years. Majority of people just don't understand how bad it's going to get. You can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up, because the is real side, yeah, because it's very much real. Yeah, they're using it, and it's proving successful. How you think that they are committing the scripted, war crimes? It's not them. The problem with this is that everybody that's in the wrong place at the wrong time, you need to understand that you are an individual that is being targeted. When you're an individual that you are being targeted, you do not have no rights. Therefore, flying is not a right that you should be considering. You should be stationary, and you should be preparing for the impact, because it's coming. Whether from the sky or whether from below, it's coming. But isn't it already here? Take a look around you, my friends. We're surrounded by death, and we want to make excuses for it. We're surrounded by sickness. We are surrounded by depravities. My friends, Egypt and Sodom and Gomorrah is rising. It's making us desolate. We don't know right from wrong. We are in the middle of depraved people. We are in the middle of people that have very depraved mentalities. And some of them, they think that because what they're doing is behind closed doors, nobody sees them. They do not understand that their actions is damning them. They do not understand that their actions is condemning them. They already dead, but their actions make them double dead. You can't wake up the dead. This is why religion is so fake. They claim to, bring people to Christ. You can't bring nobody to absolutely nowhere. If the Holy Spirit don't touch you, there's no repentance. There's no conviction. None. But the churches want to convince you that they can help you when they can't even help themselves. There's a great trap coming, and I'm warning you, get out of the churches. Watch these people closely, what they're doing. The Pentecostal movement is a Christianity aspect. It's affiliated with the New Age movement. And it's been in disguise all along. And I am telling you, they are cursed. As every religion is a curse to men, because it is sequestering your soul, and it has your soul hijacked, thinking that you can listen to a man and you will have the favor of our Heavenly Father. Without the commandments, without obedience, and without the Sabbath, you are dead. You got nothing. You're not a witness. You're an unfaithful bride. The churches are an unfaithful bride preaching a gospel and a doctrine of demons. But y'all don't understand that. She is the 10 foolish virgins. Yahushua's going to tell them, depart from me, I never knew you. The world doesn't know him. Jesus is made up. It's a made up character. Whether it was a real person or whether, it was something that they, took from someone, a story like they often do, remains to be seen. Whether they took aspects of our Messiah and his ordeal, it's possible. But it's a fictitious name, no affiliation whatsoever incomparable to our Messiah. Is to be rejected. Religion is to be rejected as the demise of men. Once upon a time, the prison for the souls of men was under the ground upon death. There was no distinguishment, no separation. The wicked share space with the evil, and the evil share space with the righteous. There was no distinguishment. No distinguishment, no separation. When Yahushua came, he made that stand. He made that separation because he conquered death and he took the keys away from the devil. He no longer had power over the dead. Now, we're no longer subjected to death. No. Now we live. Now we are subjected to our choices. Our choices is what makes us dead, not what we say. What you say has to align with your actions. Actions are choices. If what you say does not align, you're a hypocrite and you're a liar and you're lying to yourself. You think that you're lying to someone else, but the greatest lie is the one that one tells itself. You are your worst enemy, not the devil. The devil's a prosecutor that has been turned into a boogeyman because he is in the throne, in front of the throne of our Heavenly Father, accusing you day and night of being unworthy of him and salvation. So he's a prosecutor. This is why we got an intermediary, a lawyer, a faithful one that's fighting for you day and night. Can you recognize the difference? Because if you're in the court of men, you're about to lose the battle. Who are the labor leaders that this clip of early warning is speaking about? He says that thanks to the labor leaders, we have been able to accomplish what they have been able to accomplish. The labor leaders is anything and everything within the working class. I told you a little while ago that Fauci and Gates didn't inoculate no one. They didn't murder no one. They are masterminds. So who pulled the trigger? The labor workers, the labor leaders, which is the working class. This movie confirms what I just told you earlier. Not only that, it confirms other movies such as Knowing, such as Signs and the movie Warning. It also brings forth leave the world behind. These are all predictive programming. But they're not just predictive programming. They're foreshadowing. Evil is foreshadowing its intentions. This is what they want to do. But you have to understand that the mind of men is not the mind of our Heavenly Father. Therefore, man is powerless against the evil that they're bringing forth, because that same evil is going to consume them. This brings forth these two verses where the captive is going to succumb to captivity. Those that lead into captivity will be captives, and those that kill with the sword will be killed. This is what it's talking about. It's making reference to these particular people. Religion is leading people astray. They're going to be dealt a low blow because they're going to go for deception, for shadows. And killing with the sword and being killed with the sword goes for anything and everything that is vengeance, rebellion, and sheds blood. Take a look around. Most of the criminals that have committed crimes are being dealt with overkill, such as what we're seeing in the streets of the island, where people are being gunned down twice as much. You only need one bullet in the right place. But then again, those shall not kill. And killing is not a substitute for self-defense. So think about it, my friends. Because in reality, if you're not under the spirit of the Most High, you're under the spirit of war. And that's number 13. And that's apostasy, depravity, and rebellion. Therefore, that's the spirit of the enemy. So check yourselves. This movie is predicting a energy crisis. This movie is predicting a food shortage. But it's not just predicting it. It's scripted because we're looking at it. First comes inflation. And you pay for it. Doesn't matter. This costs $20, but once upon a time I used to pay $3. But I don't care because I have it. Because I'm getting paid. Because I work. Because I'm entitled. Let me tell you something. Every time you go to a restaurant, you are paying to be poisoned. Every time that you go to any pharmacia or any city, emergency services, dealing with your health, you are cutting your life short. Every time that you drink their polluted water, which you pay for every single month, you are cutting your life short. And every time that you entertain these politicians, you are cutting your soul short. So take your pick, because your money is leading you astray. And from where I'm standing, I don't want to be you, nor would I want to be in your shoes. I'd rather be poor and have absolutely nothing. But at least when I do have $5, I can spend it on a cup of coffee, because I buy a pack so I can make it every day. I don't need to go to the corner store, because I don't know where they get the coffee. You can show me a label, but does that coffee really belong to that label? Because when it comes to money, these people don't lose. These people will sell you a maggot raw steak if they can get away with it. After all, how many people did they caught selling dogs and cats here in the island? This is not new. I can show you the spot. In the 1980s, it used to be a very prestige Chinese restaurant. And they got caught selling dogs and cats, and they were hanging in the back, skinned. You think I'm joking? Take a good look at my eyes. I don't joke. Nonetheless, he also goes on to say an imprinted mark. I told you guys that Revelation 13 is not artificial intelligence. It's not a chip. It's a tattoo of ownership. No different than any tattoo that you can do in today's modern day society. But this particular tattoo is going to be the mark of the beast. It's not going to be anything inside. It's going to be on top of your skin. It's going to be here, sequestering your thoughts and your actions, which is what you form before you bring it forth through your hand. This is the importance of the right hand. Thought process that leads to action. Hand is a sign of action. It's a thought. As long as it stays a thought, it's a thought. It's not a manifestation. Once you bring it forth and your hands act, it becomes a manifestation of your thoughts. That's how easy it is to get damned and curse. One thought away. We don't consider things. We don't think. You pay to be musically spellcast. You pay to sit in a theater, and God knows what they're spraying you with through that, high cold AC. Who knows how long that popcorn's been there? I used to work at a theater when I was young. We used to save the popcorn every night. Of course, I didn't know the difference. It tasted good the next day. I mean, it's no different than me buying a popcorn bag and, closing it and putting it on the fridge. So I thought. When it comes to money, they don't lose. They don't lose. You're not there to lose money. When you throw something away, it's because there's no other choice. But you will not be throwing it away if you can put it in someone's plate. Chefs got their tricks. Nonetheless, this movie is speaking about things in 1981 that one at that time can't understand, because in reality nothing was happening. Nobody understood what energy crisis was. In 1981, we didn't have industrial stuff in people's houses. The average person just had a normal light bulb. We didn't have that many, electronic stuff either. The majority of people use conventional stove of gas. So, you need to, really look at what it's happening, because I am telling you, the majority of the things that were done within the last 4 years, everybody made money out of it. Therefore, your time is short, my friends. I hope you can understand that. I'm not judging. I'm not condemning anyone. I'm telling you what your actions in bringing forth. You need to face them. We all need to face what's happening, because we want to point fingers. We want to talk about this. We want to talk about that. But there are no solutions. The news don't bring solutions. Nor are they preparing people. They're psychologically effing with people. The radio, no different. These people are sensationalisms. They ask all the wrong questions because they want to be friends. They want to keep the peace. You understand? No, this is why people are going to revolt, and this is why people are going to hit the streets. You need to understand that those that protest are going to be led to a no-way street, and those that want to be spectators, well, you are putting yourselves in danger, because in reality you should be grounded and prepare for impact. It's coming. It's already here. $14 for eggs, $10 for 12 eggs. My friends, I remember when one egg was 5 cents. You can get 3 eggs for 25 cents. I'm not that old. I'm only 51. It's becoming hard and hard to go to the supermarket and to buy something that is really food. And I don't know what else to tell people. We have already been warned here that we're going to have problems with the electric. The lights flicker all the time. Luma is after money. They're not really fixing anything, but we pay more. My bill just increased. I have a limit, and once I reach that limit, that's it. I'm going to have to make a decision whether I'm going to keep my lights or whether I'm going to shut them off and live as a nomad. My friends, tough decisions are coming, and you're going to have to make a choice. And I am telling you, those that are preparing for their comfortable life with the solar panels, look at what they're doing. They are tearing down the trees. They are cutting the trees so that they can make a way for the sun, so that they can put it on top of their houses, so that they can get, electricity when everybody else is in darkness. Not everybody qualifies for that. So you need to understand who's qualifying for that. Who is the intensive for? The working class. Because the poor people, like myself, we don't qualify. Because we don't give anything to the government. FEMA has already said that this hurricane season, they're not going to cover anything. So if a major hurricane comes to the island and you lost your stuff, then you lost your stuff. But I already know that these agencies are not to be trusted. Therefore, I understand that they are a psyop, and I understand that they mean the complete opposite of what they say. When you start to see the reality of the matter, you start to look at these people for what it is. And you can't deny the evidence, nor can you deny the nature of things, nor can you make excuses for it. When you start making excuses for it, you're going to start hating this world. And you're going to start hating the people in it and what they stand for and what they represent. And your spirit is going to abhor them because they're impious. They're an obstacle. They're dirty. They're filthy. They're no different than a garbage can, but they look good because they're demons. You're dealing with demons and they look like you and me. You can identify. Whatever is coming from up there, they're demons. Whatever is coming from underneath, they're demon. And what is manifesting in government is demonic in nature. Some of these people that went along to get along and got paid, and some of these people that decided to, use machines to cut people's lives short, you need to understand, you just killed with the sword. Your time's short. Your clock's ticking. I hope you can find repentance within yourself first before you can start asking all these dead people for forgiveness. Seriously. Because once you're dead, it's over. You can't speak to the dead, nor can you ask the dead for repentance. So you're going to have to live with what you've done. What more torture than what is coming to people? Demons is the least of your problems, but that's what you're dealing with. But the torment that people are going to go through, and how these demons are going to start manifesting themselves mentally within people because of the things that they've done, and how they're going to start tormenting them, that's easily foreshadowed. That's easily seen. It's already happening. But it's a joke. It's a conspiracy theorist, right? Nothing happened. Everything is good. Planes are, they crashing because, technology is, it's faulty, Maybe it's just an accident. Whatever. I don't suck my thumb. But if that's what you want to believe, if you want to believe that there's not a hand behind every murder, every sacrifice, every orchestration, every train wreck, every airplane falling, every single hurricane, and every single earth shake, then I feel bad for you. If you think that everything is just coincidental and it doesn't mean nothing, and you're going to continue to move forward, and you're looking forward to your 50th and 60th birthday, I'm here to tell you your time is short because you're going to be deceived. This is not the time to be flying. We're not birds. This is not the time to be in the ocean. We are not fish. This is the time to get prepared for what you see that is evident. Right now, the weather is a problem, and food is a problem. I don't know what to say to people. But you've been warned through predictive programming, which is nothing more than the obligation of these entities to tell us what their true intentions is, so they do not break our free will. But because we see movies as entertainment and we see these people as entertainers, then you are being sadly misled into thinking that this is all fake, when in reality it applies to you because you're the targeted, because they're presenting it to you. They don't watch this stuff. They don't have a devil's box. But you do. And you want it big. And the bigger they come, the bigger you want it. Without even knowing that this technology is literally spying on you. And these are black mirrors that will be used and will serve a purpose when these interdimensional entities start to invade our reality. Think not, think again, my friends. You're going to see locusts. The affliction of people is coming. All those that do not have the mark of our Heavenly Father, which is the seal of the living God, which right now is under the Sabbath, the commandments, obedience, the testimony, Yahuwah, Supreme, Father, Creator, His Son, Yahushua, our Redeemer, our Lord, our Savior. We're witnesses. We hold a testimony. What do Christians hold? They hold a cross and a rosary. The daughters hold the cross, and the mother holds the cross and the rosary, because they're an extension. Religion is the prison of the soul of men. So what holds the body? Pharmakia, of course. You can't have one without the other. It's time to wake up, my friends. It's time to wake up. It's time to wake up. We are under a information war. We are under a psychological war. And all this is through fear, destabilization. Not to mention, there's something in the water. I'm dealing with water. And there's something in the water. My son keeps sneezing, and I just got over a very bad flu. Knocked me out for 4 days, which is the foreshadowing of what is coming to people, which was foreshadowed to me in 2018 before the pandemic started, which I told you guys when I travel after Maria. I told you guys that I got really, really sick. Fear, anxiety, worrying, problems, well, external problems, obviously. Problems within yourself, you can work at them and fix them, which is what everybody should be doing, working on themselves and giving their backs to this system and this evil world, because you don't really need them. But nonetheless, all that lowers your immune system. Believe it or not. Along with whatever it is that, you know, they're showering us with, then you need to understand that people have already been compromised, and they're gonna succumb to whatever it is that they're gonna succumb. Nonetheless, they continue to push the poisoned, and those that push poisoned don't take it, no matter what they say. The devil doesn't poison himself. So you need to understand what it is for what it is. I feel bad that a lot of people just, at this point in time, they still don't get what has happened to them. And they, you know, are still trusting. I live in a time in my life where I trust absolutely no one, and your actions dictates everything. I don't care how nice you are. I don't care how much you say you love me. I don't care if you take care of me or you don't take care of me. I don't care if you smile at me. I really don't. If your actions don't align with the things that you say, then I'm sorry, you're evil and wicked. But I don't trust anybody. Trust, it's been retrieved. I do not trust anyone because people are vain and people are not thinking and people do not understand that they are a marked individual, that their time is short. They still do not understand, and they continue with their negativity, and they continue with their opposition, and they continue to go against other people. But these people don't look at themselves in the mirror. These people don't feel that there's accountability for their actions. You need to understand accountability is coming. There's no revival. I don't know what they're preparing for. I don't know how they're going to sugarcoat it, but I am telling you, there's no revival. What's coming is demons. What's coming is bloodshed. What's coming is chaos and destruction to a degree that the majority of people are going to go insane. They are about to plan something devastating to everyone. But I told you guys in my last video that 88 was going to bite. And everybody was going to feel his bite, even those that did not vote for him. And there's nowhere to go. If you want to be caught off guard and away from your house, and you want to be left to the mercy of others, which you're not going to survive, by the way, because these people are not human. But if you want to do that and learn the hard way, then go right ahead. But my advice to everyone is to ground yourself. My advice is to prepare accordingly. My advice is to think outside the box of your personal needs, what you need to survive. My advice is to help others, maintain your faith, ground yourself in your belief. It cannot be taken away from you, nor can they steal it. They can kill the body, but they will never touch the soul. If you are afraid of death, the truth does not abide in you because you don't understand it. Death is nothing to be afraid of. Our Messiah compares death to sleep. When you really contemplate what sleep is, it's the most vulnerable time of any human being. It's a time of unconsciousness. You're literally dead, and you don't know it, but you're afraid of death. Then if you're afraid of death, then you're afraid of sleep, which generates the body and recharges it for the next day. Where does our soul go during the sleep? It depends on where you are emotionally and psychologically. Our dreams are more than what they are telling us. Our dream reveals things about us. Dreams reveal patterns, and often they're warnings of impending chaos, and they are alerting you that something is not right. I never thought that I would be living through a time where I would have to worry about whether I can afford this or whether I can afford that. I never thought that I would be living through a time where I would feel such a mental oppression from those that are getting paid to do their job. I never thought that I would be living through a time where I am being forced to take poison in a level that it's incomprehensible. I never thought that I would be oppressed in a level of inhumane. And it has nothing to do with money. Once upon a time, I thought that I was being rejected because I couldn't pay for things. And I was once in a corner asking for money. But no. Now I'm being rejected not because I don't have money. Now I'm being rejected because I don't want to participate. Because I don't want to entertain you. Because I see who you are and I'm calling you out for what it is that you are. And I'm bringing you to point. You need to hear yourself. Have you looked at yourself in the mirror? Do you hear what you just said? Like, really? Not today, Satan. People don't listen to themselves. And I don't think that when people look at themselves in the mirror, they really see who they are. I think they see a fictitious straw man. Because if you're still entertaining this world, then you're fake. Because the world considers you a straw man. So if you're a straw man, then you're fake. Because that's what a straw is. A straw man is an artificial individual that doesn't exist but pays taxes and is considered a legal person in the court of men. I'm not a straw man, sorry. I'm nobody's slave. I'm a child of the Most High. And I recognize that I am in a prison. So, Yahushua is my liberator. And I'm walking that way. But the world wants my attention. And the world wants my participation. And it's time to separate myself. I cannot participate because you're wicked and you're evil and your time is short. Your actions damn you. Therefore, I gotta walk away because I cannot be an accomplice, nor can I be a participant of demise. By me siding with you, sitting with you, walking with you, I am accepting who you are and what you represent, which goes against my morals. Therefore, that makes me a hypocrite. Take your pick. You're going to find out that having sympathy for Satan makes you an accomplice. You're going to find out that keeping silence makes you an accomplice. If you know what's good for you, but you do the opposite, it makes you a sinner, because it's a sin. If you know to do good to another person, why would you hurt them? It constitutes as a sin. Therefore, this is the things that the world creates that oppresses a normal human person with a God-given heart. These ungodly people, these evil and wicked people that stand for absolutely nothing and would rather keep silence and look the other way when another person is being hurt, all because of money. That's their wages. Nothing we can do about that. You cannot save no one because you need salvation yourself. And you cannot continue to side with evil because it has a high price. And your soul is not worth it. Take your pick, my friends. Because the show is about to begin. But it hasn't not already begun. I'm going to close with this experience I had. Because I am telling you that we're dealing with demons. And I'm also telling you that the believers and those that know our true Messiah and are holding on to the commandments and the Sabbath, we have our own protection. As long as you maintain yourself in the righteous path, there's nothing that can come against you. There is no law against goodness. There's no law against doing good, against siding with good, against protecting another person, against feeding another person, against loving another person, against being kind to another person, against offering shelter to another person. There is no law against those things. Those things are good. They're righteous. They're noble. They are expected of a human being to have compassion for someone else. But if you have no compassion for an animal, then how can you have compassion for human beings? At the beginning of December, I dropped my son off. It was roughly about 2 or 3 days before everybody broke for the holiday vacation. And I remember that I came home and I was doing something. I can't remember exactly what I was doing, but I was into something. And when I came home, boom, I went straight to whatever I was, working on. I am going to assume that it was research due to the simple fact that when I seen everything, the only thing that was in my thought process was my son throughout the whole ordeal. So when I came in, right, I sat down. And when I sat down, all of a sudden I felt like something was overshadowing me. When I say overshadowing me, it meant like something invisible was standing right in front of me, overlapping me as a human, and I can see eyes, and I can see a double vision. So not only am my eyes are open and I'm looking, but I'm also looking through someone else's eyes. I can't explain it any other way. So when I noticed that, I looked at my dogs and I started to see double, but it wasn't double vision. No, I literally see 2 sets of eyes. So I'm looking through my eyes, but I'm looking through another set of eyes. And then my dogs are like the way I'm acting, because I'm grabbing my head, and I'm just walking, but I see 2 of everything, but it's not double vision. It's 2 eyes. Like I'm literally, something is overlapping me, and I can see the eyes, someone else's eyes, which I'm looking through, which is making things double. I can't explain it any other way. This has never happened to me. This is the first time I've ever experienced anything like this. Nonetheless, my dogs thought I was playing. This is how I know that they were clueless as to what was happening. Not only that, I saw 2 of them, but there were 2 sets of eyes. And then I walked to the kitchen, to the bathroom, and I tried to look at myself, but I couldn't see nothing. But I still saw it was like something transparent, invisible, but my eyes can see it. Then I remember that I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, Father, what is this? What's going on? What's happening? And then all of a sudden, in the back of my mind, like subconsciously, I was thinking of my son, and like my brain was having a conversation, like literally telling me like I can't go pick up my son like this. But I just dropped my son. Why am I thinking about picking up my son when I just dropped him? And then all of a sudden, that was the only thought, like the only worry, the only concern. And then everything else was just blank, like a blank piece of paper. After that, it was like I was being shown what was present at that time. There was nothing. Like in my subconscious, The only thing in my mind during the ordeal was my son. The simple fact that I was worried in my subconscious that I couldn't drive, seeing double. So how was I going to pick up my son? That was what's on my mind. Everything else was blank. It was shown to me like a blank piece of paper. Like, blank piece of paper. The only thing that was shown to me was the thoughts. That's it. Those were the thoughts, but everything else was blank. There was nothing else there. Nonetheless, after, I would have to say like 5-10 minutes, it just disappeared. Like, it went away. Throughout the whole thing, I never felt dizzy. I never tumbled. I never tripped. I didn't lay down. I was just walking, pacing back and forth, trying to figure out, why am I seeing two sets of eyes? Mine's and whoever it is that is overlapping, that I'm looking through their eyes. Nonetheless, this was that day. The next time that it happened, it was not overlapping, but it was there, and it was just weird because I kept seeing it through the sides of my eyes, like almost like in the corner, but all I could see was those eyes again. But this time they were not overlapping me, they were like next to me, like if something was standing next to me, but I couldn't see who or what it is. It's just eyes. I can see through their eyes. So then I just got really like, like I didn't know what it was, because it doesn't make me feel like absolutely nothing. It's just creepy. Like, I find it creepy that I'm looking through, someone else's eyes, and it's mind-blowing to me, and I have no explanation for it. But the only thing I said on that day was, I can see you. Like, that was it. I was just like, I looked to the side and I said, you know what, I can see you. So like, what's going on? And that was the last time it happened. It hasn't happened since. And that was during the month of December. And then towards the end of December, we had my son's account, his phone account was trying to get hacked, and I went through a very stressful situation because some clown decided to pay my son's phone bill, only to later, retract the bill, which I knew was a scammer from the beginning. But nonetheless, they sure didn't get no information. But that was a very stressful situation that I went through, because in reality, when I questioned, they told me that there was nothing they can do. So I found it to be really like disturbing. Nonetheless, that was on the 29th, and then on the 31st, we had a major blackout where the whole entire island was plunged into darkness. I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Actually, I woke up like a little bit earlier than that. I think I woke up like 3:30 in the morning, and I started my day because I had a long day that day. Nonetheless, by the time I was getting ready to feed the dogs at around 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, the lights went out. So we were in darkness. So later on, we lost water. So we had no light and no water throughout the whole entire day. The funny thing is that when you stepped outside, everything was working. Like it was normal. It just didn't feel like we were in darkness. It did not feel like that. It just felt like, everybody was just going about their way. Everybody was just, taking it lightly and, anticipating that it was nothing. And a lot of people didn't know that it was the whole entire island that went into darkness. Like, it was just crazy. You went to the stores and they had lights and they were working, and it felt like so eerie. Okay, it just felt like so eerie, and everybody is just acting like it's normal, but yet when I came home, it's this desolation, and it's just no lights, and then no water, and it's just like you sitting there and you're like, what do, you know? And then not only that, but you know that day people lend themselves to do stupid things, and you know, New Year's in darkness. All I know is that the lights came back on like around 11 something. And ever since then, nothing has been the same. Everything has been upside down. Everything feels off. I feel like I literally like lost a day. I've been off one day. I don't understand why. I think it's Thursday when it's Friday. It's just, it's been mind-blowing. Then on top of that, Luma decided to do a coup, and from $1.84 that I used to pay for every kilowatts or whatever, they raised it to $3 and change, almost $4. And my bill went sky high, and that added to the tension, you know, and the uncertainty of the stress with this entity that just refuses to accept that they are charging us for double the electricity and continue to raise the electricity, and is embedded in the people paying for everything that they do. And at this point, I'm asking myself how far this is gonna go, because in reality, the problem in the island is not the government right now. The problem in the island is the taxes and the Luma Mafia that is stealing from the people. When I look at the bill of light from 2018, when Luma Mafia wasn't here, you start to see that there was no combustion fee, because you do not use gas or petroleum to power energy. So why are they thinking that, you know, they need fossil fuels to power energy? Something's not right with that. When I look at the bills from 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, up to 2019, up to when Luma Mafia took over in 2021, I am telling you, there's a difference. It costs more. They implemented more charges and more taxes. And that's what's killing the average individual, because there's no property taxes here. The only properties that pay taxes here are the properties that are being rented. Majority of people own their land. So they gotta get us one way or another, because it's all about money. And I can't live in a world that everything revolves around money, that every step I take, I have to have $1 bill in my hand. I'm sorry, that's not normal. I have never seen that before. There's just no way that brings forth a productive life. No way. No way. A good quality of life. They cause the stress. They usher the damage into society. We get the impact, and then we're labeled. And then some, if you're lucky, they give you a check. Some are just in the street. Nobody cares. Everybody is into their own thing, their own self-gain. Nobody cares about the next person, you know. But don't let your dog, you know, escape and poop in somebody else's lawn that they got something to say. But the basic needs of people, they don't cover them. They don't care. It's only when it has to do with them. As long as it's not their problem, they don't care. And I'm not like that. I've never been like that. Sorry. When a person comes ask me for help, I'm going to do the best that I can to help them. Because if they're asking for help, they don't need money. They need help. And there's a difference. I don't know what else to say. I really don't. But I want to look at, and I want to state the simple fact that we're dealing with the number 19 and the number 18. Number 19 is faith. Your faith is being targeted and it's going to go into bondage. You need to understand that, because that's what religion is doing. They are preparing for something, and there's a difference here between having a testimony and being obedient, and there's a difference between being a Christian and standing in a temple that is not your own and serving a man that needs salvation himself. Yes, we got shepherds, but shepherds are not above their sheep. Neither is the master above the slave. The evil has to come first. Just as the west has to fall first. Then comes the east. It's propagandized, it's been prophetized, and it's been brought forth within the last 50 years. There's no mistake on that, and that comes from the mouth of evil, because they're the ones bringing forth the warnings and the prophecies, and they are not good. They are very devastating. Not only that, they often do it in the name of Jesus, but Jesus can't save anybody because he's dead weight, and he's a demon in disguise. Just as every religious artifact holds a demon in itself that manifests itself. If it didn't manifest itself, then nobody would pay attention and nobody would worship it. This is why the nuns have often been depicted as the ones and the corporates behind the scenes that make things happen and then sell it to people as miracles, such as statues dripping blood and statues crying and this and that. Like, that's demonically in nature, because that's a piece of, you know, stone. If you throw it on the floor, it'll break. It can't talk, it can't hear, it can't move, it can't do nothing unless it's possessed or unless it's being manipulated by demons, which they can, because this is their domain. But we don't want to believe. So what can I say? But this movie is telling you exactly that they control the transportation, the shadow government, they control the media, and they also control the banking system. We tend to think that the Rothschilds are the one that control the banking system, but who controls them? Because unless they're just a meat suit, there's someone behind them. Nonetheless, the labor leaders are the working class, and the working class is the one that is responsible for the majority of the death that we've seen, especially those that work under pharmacia and health. You are guilty of murder. So I am going to highly recommend that you get out while you still have a chance to redeem your soul. Nonetheless, the boys in blue are no different. They are also guilty of atrocities against humanity and cover-ups. Not to mention, they often are used to do the dirty work of everybody else. These people do not get their hands dirty. This is why there's going to be such a rebellion. There's going to be such a revolting, and there's going to be such a fall away, up to the point that it's going to be disgraceful for these people to be seen. It's going to be like a purge, but in a different whole way, because everybody's going to know who they are. Because if Diddy was thrown under the bus, if Epstein was thrown under the bus, if Weinstein was thrown under the bus, if the demonic, HRC was thrown under the bus, and if Monica Lewinsky threw that man under the bus, then you need to understand that there's somebody controlling all this, and we need this type of chaos because it's entertaining. They find it entertaining. I find it appalling because I could care less who Monica Lewinsky sucks ding dong. That's not my problem. That's her problem. She's the one that has to live where she puts her mouth in, not me. I didn't do that. So why should I care about how many men she does and how long she says the blue or the red dress? Yeah, because anybody that has the nerve to do that, you need to understand that semen stains anything it falls on, and it doesn't come out. So, what can I say? What can I say? I never care about these people. I'm not interested in nobody's sex life. I'm not interested whether you are a dog, whether you're a cat, whether you're a man or half woman, half man, whether, I don't care. I could care less if you're an alligator with tits walking around. Not my problem. That's you. You gotta live with that. You have to live with your pretend life. You gotta live with the lies that you have created and surrounded yourself with. Not me. I live in reality. I'm nothing. And what I do have, sooner or later I'm gonna lose. Because all this world belongs to the enemy. I am worried about my flight, that it not be in the winter nor on the Sabbath. And I know that I'm dealing with demons. I might sound crazy, but at least I'm not lying to myself. At least I am in reality. At least I will be able to stomach what is coming and recognize. And just when I look up, I recognize when I see the moon, it's not in its place. Nothing is in its place. Nothing. Ever since the 31st of December, I lost a day. Nothing is where it should be. And the moon is never where it should be when you see it. When you see it. Nothing I can say, my friends. It is what it is. It is what it is. And nature is going to take its course. The enemy is not in control. Our Heavenly Father is. He's coming to bring wrath and destruction. There's no revival. They're lying to you. These are witches and warlocks that you are serving. This is why they can do the things that they can do. These people are shameful. They're shameful. It's shameful to look at them. Because you know that you're looking at a damn soul. You're looking at a soul that has nothing left. It's already been bought and purchased. You can see the demise of this person. You can see what's coming to them. It's scary. It's scary. This is why when people do things, I walk the other way, because you're dead. I can't talk to the dead. Keep your distance, please. Keep your distance, because you're dead. Fear is the enemy of knowing, because my people perish for lack of knowledge, says Yahushua. So what knowledge do these people possess? If everything that they bring forth is fear and uncertainty and instability. I want you to think about everything I said, because everything I said in this video is a warning. Things are about to get very interesting, and people are about to lose their lives. Will you be one of them? Because you're being warned. It's time to ground ourselves. It's time to pay attention. Take your chances out of the big cities. Take your chances anywhere else. Start making prepare that are going to mean something, that are going to help you and be beneficial. Not only do we have these people, but we also got what they have created and unleashed all over the woods, the cryptids, and everything else in between that's going to come against us. I mean, after all, what does the fourth horseman brings? He brings death and Hades. And how are people going to get killed? By the beasts of the earth, by famine, by war, by natural catastrophes, all because you are embedded in saving your house, because you do not see the value of your life versus material things. You take things as a joke. Well, if you think life is a joke, then good luck to you. Life's not a joke. Life is precious. Life is an opportunity. Life is a challenge. Until next time, everyone, take care. Much love from me to you all. You are being warned. I hope that you can see the warning and apply it. But whatever is coming, it's already on the way, and there's nothing you can do. The only thing that we can do is stand. But this war mentality, I highly caution people against that. Seriously. Have a beautiful Sabbath day, everyone, and take care.